What up, mother suckers? Welcome back to Ellie Talks, episode 2, How I Got Diagnosed with Cancer. But before we get into that, let me tell you guys a quick little story that I didn't say in the last episode, which I don't know how I missed it. But then again, I was all over the place. My editor, my writer, my producer, aka my baby daddy, was like, girl, what is this? You need to make bullet points. You need to make sure you're on topic. You can't be going back and forth. And then I was like, give me a break. It was my first episode. So now I came with little notes on the side. Okay. So real quick with the story, we were up in our room after I gave birth to my baby boy. His pediatrician, the one that he was originally supposed to get, I don't know where she was at. She was not there. So they told me, oh, another pediatrician. I can't say that word and it's bugging me. It's bugging me. Yes. Like somebody help me speak English because I can't. And the more I say it, the less I feel like it sounds like the word. Also, side note, look at my vato. My vato was like, you want to put plants next to you? Like, give it more vida? And I was like, okay. So, hey, shout out to Flaco. Okay, anyways. So, okay, where was I? Okay, so the pediatrician, right? They're like, oh, it's gonna be Dr. Ranga. And I was like, wait, what? Did I hear right? I looked at my sister because my sister was with me and I was like, wait, did she say Dr. Ranga? I was like, hold up. So whatever, was like, whatever. We left it like that. Then Dr. Ranga comes in. I looked at my sister and I was like, no way. No way. I think at some point he like walked out and I told my sister, I was like, dude, is that him? And my sister was like, yeah, I think so. And I was like, nah, dude, we haven't seen him in years. That cannot possibly be him. So he comes back. And when he comes back, I told my sister, I was like, dude, I'm going to have to ask him. And I looked at him and I was like, are you Dr. Ranga? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you remember us? And he goes like this, you, I do remember. Her, I remember, pointing to my sister. And I was like, okay. I'm the one who asked, but okay, and but which kind of makes sense because my sister looks a lot like my mom. Yo nada que ver. And obviously I feel like he remembers more my mom. And we're like, oh my god, like you were our pediatrician when we were little. Pediatrician. Dude, fuck that word, bro. I can't say it. When we were little. He's like, yes. He's like, I remember your mom. Did he name my mom? I wish my sister was here to be like, did he name my mom? I don't know if he did or didn't. But he remembered us. And it blew my mind because I'm like, dude, that's crazy. It's been so long. So many years since we've seen him. So many years. And like, he looks a little different. He looks older. But it was crazy. We're like, dude, no freaking way. What are the odds? Bruh? Mind you, it was 5 of us, okay, who he would see. Obviously, when we were little. It was 5 of us. I'm the youngest one out of my siblings. Right now, the oldest is 36. I think so. 37, 38. 6. So that completely blew my mind because I was like, dude, ain't no way that's him. That's Dr. Ranga. But it's because the nurse was like, Dr. Ranga. And I was like, girl, it's Dr. Ranga. Like, the fuck? But yeah, that blew my mind. I even took a picture of him because I was like, I need to take a picture of you. And like, I took a picture of him because I was like, I need to show my mom because this is crazy. Like, what do you mean now you're checking up on my kid? And he was so sweet. He gave us a card and he's like, oh, like if you would want for me to still continue watching, like checking up on your baby, like come to my office, feel free. And I was like, oh. But it's just his office is like maybe like a cute 20 minutes away from my house or whatever. So I'm like, I don't think so, sir. But it blew my mind. And I was just thinking how much of a small world we freaking live in, bruh. You know que se pone acá tanto like, oh my god, what is that person thinking? Oh my god, da, 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 da. Like, girl, live your life. Right now, literally, ever since I got diagnosed with cancer, I'm like, literally live your fucking life to the fullest. Because one day you're chilling and the next, hey, you have cancer. Like you don't know how your life is gonna go, bruh. It's crazy. It's crazy. Dude, that's another topic I want to talk about here on Daily Talks because it's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Okay, now going back. Is that wait, first of all, is that all I wanted to say? Let me check my notes because I make notes ever since my vato was like, girl, you gotta get it together. So now back to the topic of what this video is about, how I got diagnosed with cancer. So I'm gonna dip in a little to the last video because when I give birth is when it ties up to the cancer. Okay, so let's go back a little. Rewind. When they were doing my C-section, right? In the last video, I had told you guys that the doctor seen 2 cysts. Okay, and he asked me, would you like for me to remove them? And I said yes. And then he removed them. He told me, oh, I sent, 1 cyst to the labs because it had hair, it had teeth, it had germ cells, it had bones. Like, it was growing all this crazy stuff. Okay, it was growing all this crazy stuff. And like the cyst, if I can remember, I'm pretty sure, hopefully I'm right, it was like probably like this big, I would say. It was a pretty big cyst. When I seen it, I was like, oh damn, so he sent it to the labs, right? Whatever. Before I left the doctor's, I told them like, oh, my doctor told me that he removed 2 cysts. Like, by when, can I be hearing the results and stuff like that? And they told me like, oh, within like maybe 2 weeks because it's sent to the labs and needs to get studied, yada yada yada, whatever. So I was like, okay. So after we left the hospital, I was chilling. I was waiting, for that phone call for them to be like, oh, hey, we did the testing, the lab on your thing, and like, it's nothing to worry about. You're good. Was I freaking wrong, bruh? That was totally not the freaking case. It was not the case. So, literally on my way to my last checkup, where because they check your like incisions and stuff like that, on my way to my last doctor's appointment, I get a call, and I was like, it's my doctor. So I answer and I was like, hello, whatever, hello. And they're like, oh, so we got your like lab results back, like, are you okay to have this conversation over the phone? As soon as he said that, I was like, hold up, like, why wouldn't I be okay? What do you mean? And I was like, yeah. And instantly I put it on speaker because my sister was next to me, and she's like, put it on speaker, because it took me out of, it confused me a little, because he's like, are you okay taking this conversation over the phone? And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? So I looked at my sister was like, put it on speaker. And I was like, girl, or whatever. And he goes, yeah, so the lab works came back, and that cyst turned out to be an immature teratoma, meaning it's cancer. What? When I heard those words, oh my god, my body, I was in shock. I didn't know what to say. I was so confused. I was like, dude, no way. And obviously I was stuck on the word cancer. Like, that's just scary, bruh. Hearing that word cancer, like, are you kidding me? And it's like, what the fuck do I know about cancer? I know they haven't found the fucking cure. So I was just thinking like, what, like cancer, like what, like no way. I was starting to think like, is this a dream? Like, somebody fucking pinched me. Mind you, this conversation was happening while I was on my way to the doctor and stuff like that. And my doctor was very sweet, and he was like, sorry to give you this news and stuff like that. He's like, if you feel like you need more information or something, like, or you need to like talk about it or something, and you're more than welcome to come into my office. And he told me, like, obviously I'm not a specialist in with cancer and stuff like that. Obviously he works for labor and delivery. We obviously need to recommend you to like a specialist and stuff like that. So like, they tell you more about this and stuff like that. He's like, but feel free to like come to my office if you ever need to, and this and this. And I was just like, like I was out of it. I was like, yeah, okay, thank you. And I hung up the phone, and I was like, and my sister was just like, if you need to cry, let it out, let it out. And I was like, so I feel like my emotions were so confused that I was just like frozen. And my sister was like, if you need to cry, like let it out, and waterworks. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? It's crazy hearing those words. It's crazy. It's crazy because I was not, obviously, I don't think anybody would ever expect. I didn't know. And I guess it makes sense because once I got to my doctor's office, you know, she came into the office, she checked on me and stuff like that. And then she told me, she's like, oh, your doctor called you, you know, with the news. And I was like, yeah, and stuff like that. And, you know, she was also like, oh, sorry for, you know, all of this that's happening and stuff like that. And she even told me too, like, she told me like this cancer is very rare. This tumor is very rare, an immature teratoma. She's like, it's very rare and it's more common in the younger women. And I was like, so I'm the fucking lucky chosen one? Like, what? Yeah. She also told me the same thing, like, we're gonna recommend you like City of Hope and stuff like that, specialists, so like they could go like better, they could give you better information and stuff like that. And I was like hella in shock. So like my sister was the one with the questions and stuff like that, saying like, oh, like she had so many ultrasounds being done on her. Like, how was it, like, how did you not notice a tumor? It was like a pretty big size and stuff like that. And my doctor was like, you know, the baby was pretty big in there. Maybe like the baby was like covering it and stuff. And she's like, either way, like if we noticed that tumor, there was no way of us knowing it was cancerous, you know, because it was a cyst. And it's pretty common to get cysts like during your pregnancy, or like it's very common, I think, for women to get cysts on their ovaries. But did I mention that the cyst was on my left ovary? So yeah, she's like, we wouldn't have removed it unless she was like in pain, like in severe pain. And that's the crazy part. I don't know for how long the tumor was cooking for, because like I didn't feel no pain, I didn't, none of the above. Like there was no signs of me like something's going on down there. So there was just no way of telling. So I'm like, god damn. So now that they told me this, right away, as soon as we left my doctor's appointment, me and my sister were like, oh my god, like Isaac, my son, blessing in disguise, dude. Because like I wasn't, like, you know, quick little summary for my last video, I wasn't dilating, my body wasn't budging. Isaac was like, I'm not coming out, girl, like you're tripping, like we gotta open you up, you gotta see what the fuck is in here, because like I'm looking at the tumor, girl, like you gotta get it out. And it's just crazy. I just went with my instinct to get a C-section. I got a C-section. And in my last video, I said that my nurses were like, are you sure you don't want to wait to have a vaginal? Are you sure you don't want to wait? Are you sure you don't want to wait? And like for like a split second, I almost said like, okay, let's wait. But at the end of my C-section, and they took out those cysts that turned out to be a tumor, only one of them. My nurses in the OR, they were like, oh my god, we're glad you went with the C-section, like this is a blessing in disguise, like this is how it was supposed to happen and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, literally. And me and my sister were talking about all of that right on our way home, and we were even saying too, like, dude, imagine I didn't do the C-section. Imagine I had my son like vaginal birth, and like with the pushing, like what if the cyst like bursted or something, or bursted, is that a word? What if the cyst burst? What if the cyst popped? You know, or like what if it didn't pop and like the cyst is still in there, you know what I mean? Like we were thinking of all these possibilities that could have happened if I never got the C-section. That's crazy. All these other outcomes, if I never got that C-section, bruh, that's crazy to me. And it blows my mind because I'm like, dude, it blows my mind even more because like now I'm like, dude, my son's name, like his middle name De Jesus, was because of my mom. But I'm like, dude, it's like so perfect now. It makes it even more perfect because he was literally a blessing in disguise. Like, the Lord was really with me. Okay, I hope I'm back in frame how I was because I had to change the battery to my camera. Do I be yapping? But I be yapping. Okay, where was I? Right, so that was me and my sister the whole way back home. Like, imagine this, imagine that. And it's crazy because, you know the saying, like, el hubiera nunca existe? Right? As I say, right? So it's crazy. No, el hubiera no existe. There, that's the saying. El hubiera no existe. That's crazy. Yeah, because the whole time we were like, what if, what if, what if? Or imagine that. And it's like, my experience of giving birth, it was just the way it was meant to happen. And obviously I thank God that that's the way it went down, because once again, imagine if it didn't. What if I just never felt pain and the tumor was still there, and then out of nowhere, like, it pops or something, and then my whole body is infected with cancer? You know what I mean? Like, sheesh, it blows my mind. It really does. Okay, so, you know, got that news. As soon as I got the news, obviously I told my mom, told my close loved ones, and my mom instantly, she started giving me remedios, home remedies. This is one of the plants that she would make a tea out of. And this one too. Oh my god, that's crazy. Because Anthony was like, let me put plants next to you, and he chose these two. Wow. This one goes by the name Mala Madre, and I don't know which one this one is, but Yerba Buena? I don't know. But yeah, my mom started making homemade remedies. I had to stop breastfeeding my baby. It's crazy. That broke my heart. It literally made me feel sad because I don't know, it's crazy. Breastfeeding a baby is crazy. The connection, I don't know, it's crazy. And plus, I would always say, like, if I ever have a baby, that would be one of my something I would want to accomplish as a mom, being able to breastfeed my baby, you know, because not all babies latch on. Okay, he was so good with the right, and we were working so hard on our left, and he was barely starting to latch on, you know. And then sas, I had to stop. Oh, that made me so sad. I didn't want to stop, but obviously I had to, because I'm drinking teas. Teas are not good for him, you know. And obviously I need to make sure I'm okay, so I can take care of my baby. So I had to stop breastfeeding him. That hurt my little corazón, made me sad. Yeah, I started taking remedies throughout the time that I was waiting for my appointment at City of Hope, which I got it sooner than expected, because they say it's like a really long like wait time and stuff like that. It only took long because, like, my insurance and, like, all these agreements they had to do, and, like, basically saying, like, yes, they could see me because medical bills ain't cheap. Okay. So I have Medi-Cal, by the way, so thank the Lord, because I know this is not gonna be a cheap journey. And thank God I got approved with Medi-Cal, bruh, because what if they would have been like, nah. So yeah, you know, try to stay very positive, very con buenas vibras, because I'm a huge believer, if I keep my mind positive, my body is gonna react positive, you know. So it's like, I gotta stay positive mentally, so I could stay positive physically and stuff like that for what's to come. Once I go to my appointment, the doctor checks me and stuff like that. she like physically she was like physically being able to check me, you know, down there and back there too, which she scared me. Okay, she scared me because she was checking down there, and I was like, okay, right, she's checking. I don't know where she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and check back here for the colon cancer, and zoop, right away I was like, oh my god, I was like, you could have warned me you were going in. She just told me I'm gonna check. But dude, being in the moment, you know, and stuff like that. Once again, obviously she told me about the cancer and like the tumor and how it's rare, da, 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 da. Hearing that again, once again, waterworks. Okay, so I mean, I wasn't as in shock because I already knew, but still I was still like, ugh. So when she like zip, I was like, oh my god, damn, ma'am. But yeah, they checked me also. She said something that's back there, like some sort of fat that's back there that cancer can attach to and becomes colon cancer and stuff like that. She told me how like I'm gonna need chemo after the surgery, which my surgery is coming up. It's February 6th or whatever. And she told me my hair was gonna fall. I don't know if like with different types of chemotherapy, like your hair doesn't fall. I don't know if it's with like any kind of chemotherapy you're taking, your hair like just falls. I'm not too sure about that, but she told me my hair was gonna fall. And she said like whether you do or you don't have the surgery, which obviously I'm gonna have the surgery because I'd rather just cut the cancer from the root, you know. She did say they're gonna take out some other stuff. She told me in doctor language, but I forgot the terms, what they're called, but some other stuff that they're gonna take out where cancer cells can attach to, and sometimes it's even hard to like know it's cancer because of how small the cells are and stuff like that. So she said they're also gonna remove that with my left ovary. Obviously my right one is still gonna be there, but I also wanna make sure I ask like what are the odds, you know, like it comes back or something. Like, can we just remove my whole shebang, like, you know what I mean? But obviously that's for when I have my next doctor's appointment, which is the day of my surgery, February 6th. So yeah, she told me my hair was gonna fall with the chemotherapy. She told me obviously I'm gonna feel like fatigue, like tired and all that. She's like, one thing you won't go through is like feeling nauseous and throwing up. And I was like, yeah, that's the most positive, and that's the positive side I see, because like I hate throwing up. I hate it. I hate throwing up. I hate feeling nauseous. I hate throwing up. So I'm like, okay, that's a little positive in the negative or whatever. She did say that even if I did or I didn't have the surgery, that I was still gonna have to do chemotherapy because this tumor, this immature teratoma, is an aggressive tumor, an aggressive cancer. So yeah, I got, for my appointment, it was like literally the Monday before Christmas. So Christmas was on Thursday. On Monday of that week of Christmas, she told me. And obviously, you know, she needs to stay in positive spirits, you know, because these are some pretty heavy, harsh news. And she's like, so by the next, she's like, just enjoy your holidays, and by the next summer you should be fine. And I was like, okay, because once again my sister was there. She always comes in with the questions, and my sister asked like, oh, like how long will she be doing chemotherapy and stuff like that. And the doctor was like, I estimate like 3 to 5 months. She also asked her about like the other things that they're removing and stuff like that. She asked me like, am I still gonna be able to have babies? And you know, which obviously that's right now in this moment, that is the last thing on my mind, because like I gotta make sure I'm okay for this baby that I have right now before I even think of having any more. One thing we didn't ask was like what I had said earlier was like like what are the odds the cancer comes back or something, you know, with my right ovary, you know, something like that, obviously, because there's such thing as ovarian cancer, So that's, I'm like, what are the odds, like what's going on down there and stuff like that. Like that's one thing I didn't ask, but obviously I want to ask, because in that case, like, just remove my whole thing. And if that means like I can't have babies, then so be it, you know. Gracias a Dios, I already have my beautiful baby boy, you know what I mean. And like, if it's just gonna be him, it's just gonna be him. I gotta make sure I'm okay for him. So I can't be thinking about the babies I do not have. Plus my sister, my eyes got a little watery there, girl, calm down. Plus my sister told me that she'll have my babies, so come on, I want another 5 or whatever. So yeah, that's one question. I really need to ask of, like, what are the odds? Because if the odds are higher of chances that it can come back in the future or something, just get rid of everything. Just get rid of it, you know. I don't want to wait and see. I don't want to have to risk it. Like, just get rid of it. But yeah, that was my appointment. I have to go back February 6th, which for me right now in this moment, it's currently Saturday, so the Friday coming up is my appointment. Oh, whatever. After that, obviously I had to get like some studies and stuff. They did, what was it called? ChatGPT or what? I forget what it's called, but they put like some stuff right here for my heart. They had to like hear my heart. I did lab works where they got blood out of me. I did an x-ray and stuff like that. I thought I was gonna do a CT scan, but I guess not. But I already got that taken care of, literally just waiting for my surgery. And am I scared? I'm fucking scared. I've never had a surgery like this before, obviously, besides my C-section, and low-key quedé traumada, so I'm like but, and that's what I keep trying to remind myself, that like, this surgery nada que ver with the C-section. Like, this surgery I'm gonna be fully asleep. So like, you know, because I think that's what traumatized me with my C-section, where I was half awake. And you know, like, I was able to feel all my emotions, and like, I was feeling scared, I was feeling confused, I was like panicking, my breathing. So I keep having to remind myself, like, this upcoming surgery is not gonna be like my C-section, because I'm gonna be completely under. Because no, if they were to tell me it was gonna be like the C-section, I don't know. I would be freaking out even way more. But yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared of, I don't know if I'm more scared of like what's to come after the surgery, you know, starting the whole chemotherapy and all that, or if it's the surgery on its own that I'm scared of. I don't know, but I know I have to be strong, you know. And yeah, I'm gonna get to this. I know I have a big ass village behind me. I know my baby's gonna be well taken care of, because I don't want to cry. It's just the thought of like, I don't know, I'm gonna like not gonna be able to care for my baby. It's because that's the thing. Like, I don't know how the chemotherapy is. I don't know how it's gonna have me. I don't know. So like, just the thought, like, what if I can't, you know, take care of my baby how like I do now? Even though I know like my sister's here, my mom, my baby daddy, like, I know, you know, they're here. I know there's still people for him. Like, I'm not on my own. Like, I have people who are gonna help me and stuff like that. I have my cousins. You know, I didn't want to cry, bro. But just the thought of it, and I'm like, So I think that's what I'm more scared of like how she's gonna go down with chemotherapy and stuff, you know. I guess I'm just scared like it's gonna have me too weak or something. I don't know. I don't want to miss out on like seeing my baby grow. Like I know I'm still gonna be here with him and stuff, but I mean like me being part of like, you know, I don't know, like activities. I don't know. I don't know, but I feel like I'm very much like family oriented. Family orientated. Girl, stupid as fuck. Where like when my sister says like, oh, like let's go here to the park or whatever with the kids. I want to be there, you know. And I think that's like what scares me the most. Like I don't know how the chemotherapy is gonna go. You know, I don't know. Obviously, I'm trying to be as strong as possible because, like I said, strong mind, strong body. So I'm really trying to, you know, not focus on the negative. And this is why I started Ellie Talks, because I feel like this would be a good help. This little hobby of mine would be a good help to distract me or whatnot. You know. So yeah. Give me a second, chat. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if I can tell camera, but my makeup got a little messed up. And nobody got time to go fix it up. So we're gonna leave it how it is. But yeah. What's to come after my surgery, I don't know. But I'll keep you guys updated. Yeah, that was pretty much it of how I got diagnosed with cancer. It's crazy. It's gonna be a journey. Because like with my immediate family or like my family overall, I don't think anybody in our family has been diagnosed with cancer or whatever. So like, you know, it's gonna be a journey for me and my family. Yeah, but we're staying positive. We're staying strong or whatever. And todo va a salir bien. De hecho, tomorrow, my mom, she's so cute. She booked a misa for me and invited some of my family to come. Yeah, because my surgery is next Friday. Let me show you guys. Let me freaking show you guys. Meanwhile, I get this ready. My vato's supervisor, he was in Mexico for vacation like these past couple of weeks, and he came back and he gave my boyfriend I think it's like a little santito or like a niño Dios or something like that and stuff like that. And he's like, I know you're not religious like this and stuff like that, but you know, I got it thinking of, you know, your situation with Ellie and stuff. And he said you guys could throw it away if you guys don't want it like in your house. And we're like, we're not religious like that, but we do believe, you know. But yeah, that was so sweet. The day I told, obviously, my vato, because he was at work, my sister went with me, you know, to my appointment. And the day I told him, you know, about like my situation and stuff like that, look what I got home to. Let me find it. Look it. This is what I got home to. I'ma insert a picture. He is the cutest. Once I seen that, I was like, Waterworks all over again. Waterworks. I started instantly crying because I was like, yeah. It's gonna be a journey, Chad. It's gonna be a journey. A ver cómo nos va. I got this. I am a dude. I am a hunky dude. I am a badass hunky dude. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for this episode. I think I got everything I wanted to say. And I'll be back. I think the next video is gonna be me after my surgery. Yeah, I think it is. Unless I could squeeze in another video, but I doubt it because how long it took me to make this second video. Jesus Christ, bro. Yeah. Aquí la vamos a dejar. Ahí los guacho. Alright, that's it. See ya, motherfuckers.